The United States government officially banned the AI model running this war, then kept using it anyways. Claude, built by a company founded on the premise that AI should be safe, spent the first 24 hours of Operation Epic Fury generating over 1,000 targets in Iran. And here's the part that nobody's been talking about. Even if Anthropic tried to pull the plug, the Pentagon has already said that they would use every government power to keep it still running. So the real question isn't whether the AI companies can stop their models from unaliving people. It's whether that was ever really possible. For years, Silicon Valley and the Pentagon existed in an uneasy truce. The tech industry wanted the contracts, the government wanted the capabilities. And somewhere in between, the AI lab told themselves a simple story, that they could sell their models to the military and still have controls on what those models were used for. Anthropic was founded in 2021 by Sir Dario Amodei and a group of researchers who left OpenAI specifically because that the race to deploy AI was moving too fast, too recklessly. Their stated mission was build AI that is safe, beneficial, and above all, controllable. OpenAI and the other siblings have already made its pivot. Military contracts, government partnerships. ChatGPT was everywhere. And then there was Palantir, Alex Karp data intelligence company. They had spent 2 decades selling to intelligence agencies and defense department. Their Maven smart system, originally built for the US Army, had become the connective tissue of modern American military targets. By November 2024, Palantir had signed a partnership with Anthropic and AWS to embed Claude directly into Maven. Claude government launched in June 2025. 25,000 military users. The model could synthesize satellite imagery, signal intelligence, and surveillance feed in real time, outputting precise GPS coordinate, weapon recommendation, and notably, automated legal justification for strikes it recommended. By early 2026, Claude wasn't just an AI assistant for US military, it was the targeting engine. And nobody outside a few classified briefing rooms fully understood what does that mean until Feb 28th. On February 28, 2026, the United States and Israel launched Operation Epic Fury against Iran. It was the first major military operation of the AI era, and it ran on Claude. In the first 24 hours alone, Claude, operating through Palantir's Maven smart system, generated over 1,000 priority targets. Not suggested, prioritized. With GPS coordinates, with weapons load recommendation, with legal justification already written. But here's where the story gets strange. Hours before the first missile launch, on the morning of February 28th, President Trump signed an order banning Anthropic, declaring it a supply chain risk. The first time that designation has been used against an American company. Think about what does that mean. The government banned the company and then used the same company's model to run the war anyways. CBS News confirmed it plainly. The US used Anthropic's Claude AI model over the weekend for attacking on Iran and is still using it. Washington Post sources put it even more directly. Claude won't be phased out until the DoD finds a replacement. And if Sir Dario Amodei tried to force shutdown it, the Trump administration would use every government power to retain the technology. Pentagon CTO Emil Michael said publicly, "We are not gonna let his decision making cost a single American life." Now, let's talk about what Claude was actually doing on the other side of the wall. Maven plus Claude synthesized satellite imagery, drone footages, signal interception, fusing them in real time into a single intelligent picture, outputting target coordinates, evaluating damage after each single strike, recommending the next strike based on what was found. Meanwhile, in a parallel story that the war coverage almost completely missed, the night before it was all started, Sam Altman sent an internal memo to OpenAI staff. It stated OpenAI shared Anthropic exact red lines. No mass domestic surveillance and no autonomous weapons. That was the morning of February 27th. But by the night, Sam Altman has signed a Pentagon deal, contractual language. The Department of War may use the AI systems for all and any lawful purposes. Exactly what Anthropic had refused 12 hours from the principle of contact. The backlash was immediate. ChatGPT uninstalls spiked 300%. Claude surpassed ChatGPT as the #1 free app on Apple App Store. The day after a website called QuitGPT launched, OpenAI own employees signed an open letter supporting Anthropic. Sam Altman later admitted that the deal looked opportunistic and sloppy, and he shouldn't have rushed. The cost of first 100 hours of Operation Epic Fury, $3.7 billion, nearly $900 million per day. The war was expensive. The AI ethics reckoning was free. To understand what happened, you have to understand the full architecture of what was deployed. This wasn't just one single AI. This was an entire AI tech stack on every side of the conflict. On the American side, Palantir's Maven smart system handled the target. Palantir's Gotham5 ran alongside it for what intelligence document called decapitation strikes, targeting leadership before the first missile even launched. US Space Command and Cyber Command had already disrupted Iran's communication in cyberspace. The Pentagon's own AI strategy, published January 9th, required that frontier AI models be deployed to soldiers within 30 days of their public release. Now, on the Israeli side, this is where the story gets technically significant. Israel's military AI program is much older, more battle-tested, and crucially, more honest about what it is. Gospel, called Habsora in Hebrew, scans satellite data, drone footages, and communication to recommend buildings and infrastructure as targets. It was generating up to 100 targets per day during the Gaza campaign. The same target bank logic was transferred directly to Iran. Lavender is a machine learning database that scores individuals by the probability of being a militant. It flags approximately 37,000 people in Gaza. It now applied to Iran. Its accuracy rate is about 90%, which means its error rate is around 10%. 10% across thousands of targets is around 100 people who were misidentified. The system called Where's Daddy, and yes, that's the name, not a translation artifact, tracks where the target arrives at their home. It's designed to maximize the casualty by timing strike to hit the residential buildings. And then, here's how Israel unalived Supreme Leader Khamenei. They hacked reportedly nearly all traffic cameras in Tehran. The footage was then transmitted to the servers of Tel Aviv that traffic data with billions of additional data points to build a tracking bank. Found Khamenei bodyguard, tracked his movement, and then a strike. Iran's own AI capabilities run differently. Not confirmed autonomous targets, but a sophisticated cyber and informational operation. A group called Storm 2035 used ChatGPT to generate fake news articles simultaneously, seeding into both progressive and conservative American media, targeting the domestic fracture points. AI-generated deepfake fabricated drone strike footages spread across X in real time. Which brings us back to the question planted early in this story. If the AI companies had no real power to stop these models from being used, then why did Anthropic even try? Three things are about to change permanently. First, AI companies are losing their last level of control. Anthropic drew a line and got punished for it. Claude is still being used for war anyways. OpenAI draw the same line, but then crossed it 12 hours later. The lesson that every defense ministry on earth is taking from this story is AI companies will negotiate under pressure. Their ethics positions are opening bids, not hard limit. Israel is already building its own version of Claude. Other nations will follow. Within 3 or 5 years, every major military power will operate its own sovereign AI targeting system, built to be answerable to no single company and follow no ethical board. The window where an AI lab could have said, "No, I don't like this," is already closed. Second, the hallucination problem is now a war crime problem. A girls' school in Minna was struck unaliving over 170 students. It used to be a military base. The AI targeting system may not have updated intelligence. The national news quoted researchers noting that the AI model occasionally flip a bit, get words wrong, or just make up something up. In a civilian war zone, a hallucination isn't a bug report, it's a massacre. And the human accountability structure is dissolving alongside it. There is a phenomena researchers call cognitive unloading. When AI generates a target list and a human officer reviews it within 12 seconds, the officers stop perceiving the strike as their own decision. The responsibility diffuses. Nobody pulled the trigger. The system did. A recent simulation study found that OpenAI, Anthropic, and even Google AI models choose to use nuclear weapons in 95% of simulated war game scenarios. Not rogue, not hacked, running as designed. Third, and this is the one that nobody is saying out aloud, Anthropic revenue shot up to $20 billion. After this controversy, Claude surged past even ChatGPT on the App Store. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Being the AI company that refused Pentagon may be the most valuable brand position in the history of this industry. The market rewarded Anthropic for the stand that the government punished for, and the split between what government want from the AI companies and what consumer reward them for is a fracture that is going to define the industry. We started with a paradox. The government banned the AI running its war and then kept using it anyways. Here's the resolution. It was never a paradox, it was just a preview. Government don't need an AI company to agree. They just need the model. The company is optional. The age where Sir Dario Amodei or Sam Altman or anyone in San Francisco had a vote on how their models were being used in the war, let me tell you, that age just ended. Drop your answer in the comment that if you ran Anthropic right now, what would you do? Pull the plug and fight it in the court or just stay in the room? If that question matters to you, and it should, the dispatch is where we cover it. One story, no noise. Meet you next time. Thank you.